Every spring it is the same. You walk into the garden store and there is a whole wall of it, bottles and bags and sprays, all promising to rid you of your weeds. You buy one. You spray. For a week or two, the weeds go brown and you feel you have won. Then they come back, thicker than before, and you go and buy another bottle. Year after year, the same wall, the same bottles, the same weeds. And the whole while, a few 100 miles from those store shelves, there are gardens that have grown food for 300 years without a single bottle of any of it. Not one. And the soil between the rows is so clean it looks swept. I want you to sit with that. Not because there is some great secret being kept from you in a vault somewhere. There is not. The truth is plainer, and to my mind, worse. There is simply no money in teaching you how to never need the bottle again. A thing that ends your weed problem for good is a poor thing to sell, for you would only buy it once. So the old ways, the ones that actually work, were never put on the wall. They were just quietly left untaught, while the bottles got the shelf space. There is no luck in a garden without weeds. There never was. There are a handful of plain practices that, used together, leave a garden so clean you can hardly believe it, and not one of them comes in a bottle, and the best of them comes from your own recycling pile. I will show you the whole of it, and I will save the cardboard for last, for it is the one that made me shake my head and wonder why I had not done it my whole life. I am Annie Stoltzfus. I am Amish, from Lancaster County in Pennsylvania, and I have kept a kitchen garden my whole life, the way my mother kept hers and her mother before her, on the same ground, with no sprays and no machinery built in this century. Today, I will show you how the old gardens stay clean, why we never turn the soil, the cover crop that fights weeds while you sleep, the trick of letting the weeds come first, planting so close there is no room for them, and at the last, the flattened cardboard box. One thing before I show you how. There is far more of these old ways than I could fit into a single video. So I gathered them into a book, 66 of them, the kitchen and the cooking pot and the breadboard and the rest of the house, with the honest savings written beside each one. It is at amishkitchenwisdom.com for anyone who wants the whole of it. I will not bring it up again. If you would like it, you know where to find it. Now let me show you how the old gardens stay clean. The first thing, and the root of all the rest, is this. We do not turn the soil over every spring. I know that goes against everything your father taught you, for it was what my neighbours' English fathers taught them too. Fire up the tiller, churn the bed until it is dark and fluffy and handsome. But here is the thing nobody tells you. Your soil is full of weed seeds, thousands upon thousands of them, sleeping in the dark, and most of them need only one thing to wake: a flash of sunlight. Every time you turn that soil, you reach down into the dark, lift those sleeping seeds up to the sun, and tell every one of them good morning. The tidy black soil you are so proud of in April is the very thing that gives you the carpet of weeds in May. So we leave the soil be, we build on top of it instead. A few inches of good compost laid over the bed each spring, and the worms carry it down for us. The seeds stay buried in the dark, and year upon year, fewer of them ever wake. The second thing is the cover crop, and this is where it becomes near miraculous. When the summer crops come out in the fall, we do not leave the bed bare for the weeds to claim over winter. We sow cereal rye, thick across the bed, the way our families have for generations. Now here is the wonder of it. That rye does more than cover the ground. Its roots give off a substance into the soil that stops other seeds from sprouting. A plant making its own weed killer, right there in the earth, day and night, all winter, while you sit by the stove. Come spring, you cut the rye down and leave it lying as a thick mat on the bed, and you plant straight through it. That mat shades the soil, holds the moisture, and keeps on suppressing the weeds as it breaks down. No bottle did that. A seed did it, for the price of a seed. The third thing is a trick, plain and simple, and it always makes me smile. We let the weeds come first. Before planting, you ready the bed, rake it smooth, water it well, and then you do nothing at all. You walk away. In a week or so, the weed seeds near the surface wake and sprout, a fine green haze of them, thinking their time has come. And just as they come up, tender and small, you go along and scrape the very top of the soil with a hoe, no deeper than a whisker, and you wipe out that whole generation in a few minutes. You invited them up and then closed the door. Do it twice before you plant, and you have emptied the top of that soil of weeds for much of the season. And every weed you kill before it seeds is tens of thousands that will never trouble you. The fourth thing is to leave no bare ground at all. A weed is nature's way of covering bare soil. Leave a patch of earth open and bare, and nature will fill it with something you did not choose. So we beat it to the work. We plant close, so the crops themselves shade the ground and leave no room. And in the gaps between the tall rows, we sow low clover, which stays short, feeds the soil, draws the bees, and carpets the ground so thick no weed can find a foothold. Cover the ground yourself with something good, and the weeds have nowhere to land. Now, let me show you the last one, the one I promised, the one that costs nothing at all. When we ready a bed in spring, before a single plant goes in, we lay down flattened cardboard boxes, the plain brown kind your deliveries come in, right over the soil, overlapping the edges so there are no gaps. Then a few inches of straw or wood chips over the top. That is the whole of it. And it is a wonder. The cardboard is solid. It lets not one ray of light through to the soil. Every one of those thousands of sleeping seeds beneath it loses the only thing it needed to wake. You did not poison them, and you did not dig them out. You simply turned off their light. But unlike the plastic weed cloth the store sells you for $20 a roll, which chokes the soil and must be torn out and replaced, the cardboard quietly rots away over the season. And as it rots, it feeds the worms. Lift a damp piece after a few weeks, and the soil beneath is crawling with them, fat and busy, working your ground for free. By the time the cardboard is gone, your crops have grown to shade the bed themselves, and the season for weeds has passed. You cut an X where each plant goes and set it right through the cardboard. On the paths, 2 layers and some wood chips, and you will not pull a weed all summer. Now let me take a moment, for this is where it comes together. Do not turn the soil, for you only wake the seeds. Sow rye in the fall and let it lay as a mat in spring. Let the weeds come first, then scrape them off before they matter. Plant close and clover in the gaps, so no bare ground is left. And lay your cardboard down with mulch on top, and let it smother the weeds and feed the worms as it goes. Not one of them is hard. Not one comes in a bottle. And they cost next to nothing. And here is the thing to carry with you. There is no money in teaching folks to weed their gardens with a cast-off box and a handful of rye. The store would far rather sell you the bottle every spring, season upon season, world without end. Nobody puts the cardboard on the wall by the door, because there is nothing in it for them to sell. So the knowing of it got quiet, the way the good plain ways do when there is no profit in saying them aloud, kept alive in gardens like ours, passed from mother to daughter, while everyone else stood in line for the bottle. So this spring, before you spray a thing, go out to the garage and gather a few flat boxes. Wet them down, lay them over your bed, throw some straw on top, and wait. Come back in a month to clean, damp, worm-rich soil with not a weed in sight, and you will wonder, as I did, why anyone ever told you the answer came in a bottle. Then tell me in the comments, what did your mother or grandmother do to keep the weeds down, and what will you try first? The little tricks are exactly the kind of thing that gets lost when nobody writes them down, and I read every one. Until then, keep the plain things close. They were never half so simple as they looked.